Check in on the Cowboys. There's an old saying: if you're not moving ahead, you're falling behind. The Cowboys haven't done much this offseason because they're more focused on keeping who they have. Here's Stephen Jones from last week. It's a great thing having the Micah, Ceedee, and the Dak challenge ahead of us in terms of getting them under the cap. And we're all in. There's all in again on getting that done. Again, this from last week.
Yeah.
I didn't make that up. Your reaction.
I think it's weird because it's the Cowboys, but this is how smart teams are run. You draft well and you keep your homegrown star players. And you don't splurge in free agency because usually that is paying at the top of the market, and also because you don't have the money because you are paying your homegrown players. The Cowboys Brew are a very, very well-run business whose franchise, I'm just trying to use an analogy, whose top two employees choke in the biggest moments and who's, has a carnival barker doing their commercials. But the way the Cowboys actually run the team is smart. They don't have a lot of bad contracts. They draft really well. It was good for them to say, you know what? We are not going to pay top dollar to keep Tony Pollard, and we're not going to go out there and try to sign an expensive running back. We're going to spend our time making sure Ceedee and Micah, two of our first-round picks who have unquestionably hit, stay here. I get all of that. None of that changes the fact that Dak and McCarthy have terrible postseason resumes and that you believe correctly Jerry causes distractions. But this type of stuff, I do not think they should be criticized for. I think this is good business and smart football.
Well, at first I thought maybe they don't know the meaning of all in, right? I mean, Jerry's, we're all in. Yeah. Steven, we're all in. But now after listening to some of the commentary that's out there, seeing some of the reports, maybe it was a little misdirection. Maybe all in means just like the Jets. We're going for it. I heard Schefter today talking about they might be going for like the 1 year, Dak's on 1 year, Mike McCarthy's on 1 year, Mike Zimmer, who they just hired, 1 year deal as a defensive coordinator, right? That they're going for it this year and going to see. Well, Dak, I think he's going to get signed. Yeah. But I'm just telling you what Adam Schefter said. Dak, let's see what you do. And maybe they'd be willing to move on if he can't get it done this year.
Wow.
I mean, I think they're going to sign all three of them. I think you do too. But I'm just saying, I'm surprised by this commentary out there that they might just be playing this year. Go for it. McCarthy could be gone. Dak could be gone if it doesn't work out.
So I, with respect.
You've heard that too, right?
Yeah, I've heard it. I think it's what is called public negotiation. I think Dak's agent, Todd France, is operating from the place of, you have to re-sign my guy because the Cowboys have to re-sign his guy and because the Cowboys are going to re-sign his guy. And that is a terrible negotiating place for the Cowboys to be in. So they are floating out there to people with big platforms. Oh, we might just let him play this year and see what happens to try to soften the negotiating stance.
I agree with you on that.
I am with near 100% confidence that Dak Prescott and Trevor Lawrence are both signing new deals before next season begins. Whether people think it's smart business or not, both of those things are happening because that's how business is done.
The thing with Trevor is that even if he's not this superstar we thought he'd be.
He's still.
Yeah, and it's cheaper now.
Yeah.
He's still probably a franchise quarterback. Yeah. And it's cheaper to do it now than doing it next year.
Sure, and you have that half a playoff game to really bank on. Brew, we'll start with you. How much would Aiyuk help Russ?
First of all, they do look very similar.
Also,
look at their faces.
Second of all, this is Ayuk's first tweet in 11 months. So that's why it's a little noteworthy. But go ahead.
I went to Mike Tomlin's Twitter to see what his replies were. He does tweet nice things, but I don't think he's doing negotiating. X.
I mean, you guys know I've been saying it since they got Russ. I already like their skilled players. George Pickens, I get he's probably underachieved a little bit, but incredible talent.
Yep.
Freiermuth, nice tight end, 2 good running backs. Great defense. You add Aiyuk, and it's like Aaron Rodgers. It's like, I'm not saying they're going to be injured like the Jets might be, but it's like, it's on you, man. You got enough help. If you can't get it done, and it done is make the playoffs, maybe make a little bit of a run. If you can't get it done with these guys, then you're washed. And so Aiyuk would be phenomenal for them.
Listen, Aiyuk would really be helpful for their eventual starter, Justin Fields. Russ, Aiyuk does all his work over the middle of the field. Russ doesn't throw in the middle of the field because he's small and can't see the middle of the field. And even when he was great, he didn't throw over the middle of the field. And so I think this obviously would help Pittsburgh a ton. But you know what else this signals? This is the beginning of some tough decisions in San Francisco. They don't.
I should have known.
Well, it's just the facts.
I should have known.
Does everyone at this table think Brandon Aiyuk's really, really good?
He's excellent.
Yeah, he's their first-round pick. So why is this a discussion? So we know why T. Higgins is being franchised, because the Bengals paid Joe Burrow all that money, and because the Bengals is going to pay Jamar Chase all that money. We know why Snead is franchised, because the Chiefs paid Mahomes all that money, and the Chiefs paid Chris Jones all that money. But the Niners quarterback doesn't make any money. Mm-hmm. So why would they not be paying Aiyuk? Because they have the highest paid running back, tight end, fullback, left tackle, defensive end, and in addition to that, they gave Debo $25 million a year, Hargrave 4 years for $80. Oh, and the highest paid middle linebacker, at least when he signed his deal, in Fred Warner. And Brew would tell you that they desperately need help on the offensive line because Pro Football Focus didn't like it. And I would tell you that they do need money for Hufanga, who is, I think, maybe the best safety in the league, who blew his ACL last year. So this is now, all of a sudden, the Niners are entering their, going to have to, cut Eric Armstead, which they did. Going to have to make maybe a business decision on Brandon Aiyuk. And despite the fact that their quarterback makes $900,000. And if they were to trade Aiyuk, I'm very curious how that impacts Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
I know you guys,
I'll give you, we might know. I mean, we have a little bit of evidence.
Yeah, so you don't think
Brandon Aiyuk missed one game last year. How did they do?
I'm sure Brock.
They won 30-12 against the Giants, who were,
Who were what? What do I know? Tell me.
They got Dable, who's a good coach.
Coach of the year.
Brock Purdy without Brandon Aiyuk, y'all. I know Nick thinks he was horrible.
No, I don't.
4 interceptions or something. No,
I don't.
25 for 37, 310 yards, 2 touchdowns, passer rating 111.3.
So you don't think?
And I think, Jawan. Now I'm not trying to make Jawan Jennings out to be some superstar. Obviously, he played well in the Super Bowl. Right. I think they think he can step up, and it is a deep receiver draft, and we'll go get one of these receivers that's not making a lot of money.
Of course.
And we still got Debo and Kittle that you have to worry about, not to mention McCaffrey.
I don't think it would be a bad move. The point I am making is the Niners, they have had a ridiculously loaded team over the last few years. And they have come as close as any team can come to getting over the hump without getting there. I think that as far as just raw talent on the roster, last year and the year before are going to be far more talent on the roster than they have this coming year or the year after. And that wasn't enough then. And then there will, of course, be the question of, well, if Brock Purdy's the guy Bruce says he is, he very soon is going to go from $1 million a year to $50 million a year. And so
but they got him one more year.
They've got him this year and then technically 2 more years, but he would get his extension after this coming year. So I think it is very noteworthy that this is on the board, that the Niners have not locked up Brandon Aiyuk, and they haven't done it because they have too many expensive players. Yeah. I mean, that's flatly the reason. They have too many expensive guys.
Yeah, I think they'll be fine.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.